just done the saving here because I think I know what you're getting at in a general term. These ideas that you bring up are part of what is known as a cultural enlightenment. It is a period in our history, especially in the history of Western civilization, known as the Enlightenment. And this was a period when secular ideas, non-religious ideas, ideas that were not tied to the idea of a god, a deity, this sort of punishing father figure, these ideas began to be pushed to the back burner, and things like human rights, like the idea of the dignity of the human being as an individual, began to have more and more influence in our culture. So yes, we don't burn people at the stake anymore because secular ideas made it clear that that was an abominable thing to do.
Yeah.
When you had very strong religious cultures, you saw that sort of thing, just as you saw justification for slavery. It is because of non-religious ideas that we see these kinds of intellectual evolution that you're talking about, this idea of, you know, egalitarianism between the genders and the races and what have you. You know, or racism is, these are ideas that are being fought not because of anything having to do with, you know, belief in a god or a deity.
But there's a greater point. There's
I know what you're saying,
yeah.
And by the way, you don't see where I'm going at all.
That's true, we don't.
I would say an argument to that it's not only religious systems that burn people at the stake and hung people. It's
Agreed.
also political system, it's war systems, it's economic systems. So it's not only religious systems.
Agreed.
To blame religion is, for all the ills of the earth.
Nobody has.
There's other generalization that are here going on here.
Oh, no, we're not doing that.
We've never done that.
We're not doing that.
We have never done that.
We're saying
you are.
No, we're not.
Saying that
Not right now.
No, we never have.
When you had some dumbass on the line who was talking about dinosaurs on a fucking yacht, you know, they don't.
I think we're done with you, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
go ahead.
I mean, if you know how to make your point, because we've been sitting there for several minutes online and you never really got to a point. If your idea is that we make broad generalizations, look, we're atheists, okay? And this is an atheism show, and we critique religion on this program. And we do hold religion responsible for the things that it does. Now, if you want us in every single phone conversation that we have to split hairs and be like, okay, well, we're not talking about this and we're not talking about that. No, to hold religion responsible for the things that it does specifically is not this unfair generalization. And yeah, yes, while there are cultures, there are political systems that have been corrupt and that have been dehumanizing, that have done many of these bad things, to sit there and claim that religion has not had, or that there's too much of an emphasis on religion, when we simply blame religion for its role in those same activities.
Right.
You know, you are what is known as, Jeff D's wife has a wonderful term for guys like you, and it's called ignore stick, right? You're somebody who just wants to whitewash and downplay the role of one thing over another thing. You just don't want to really think about the ramifications too much. You want to give religion a fair shake that it doesn't deserve by saying, oh, well, it's not necessarily any worse than these other things. Well, it has been worse, right?
Well, it
I mean,
fuels a lot of those
most of the great atrocities that go on in this world have a religious motivation behind them, right? Not all of them, no. We'll admit that straight up front. But I think that if you look at, well, 9/11, you know, it took you know, fundamentalist Islam to motivate that. Most of the, I'd say the overwhelming majority of the anti-Semitism that you see in the modern world had its roots in medieval religious culture, right? You know, look at the history of you know, the Middle Ages, particularly, say, during the time of something like the Black Death, right? Where one of the reasons that people latched onto for why the Black Death, the plague, was ravaging the landscape was that Jews were poisoning wells, right? And you would have entire towns where they would take the entire Jewish population of the town, herd them into barns, and set the barn on fire, right? And these were good Christians doing these things. So to say that, oh, well, you can't just blame religion for stuff, that's a gross generalization. A lot of what you see, most of the atrocities, I think, are attributable to religion. Most of the atrocities that have influenced non-religious systems that commit the same atrocities, those non-religious systems were influenced by these ideas that came before that had a root in religion. I think religion plays a very strong role, and a much stronger role than most other things. So... yeah. And I'm not going to shut up about that.
We have people up for stoning in Iran right now.
Yeah.
We've got Uganda passing laws to want to kill or imprison gays for life. I mean, this is now. This
Yeah.
isn't like 100 years ago or 500 years ago or in some antiquity. This is in today's world right now, religion at the root.
Yeah.
People dying, people being executed in gruesome ways because of religious belief. And Christians in Uganda and Muslims in Iran. And so nobody gets the pass. But I wanted to clarify, when I was talking about salvation being dehumanizing, I don't just mean if you believe in a hell. Even if you don't believe in a hell, the central tenet of Christianity is that Jesus Christ was put to death as a human sacrifice for the redemption of mankind's deprivation. And as long as a person accepts that that act took place and was just, they're saying that an execution was required to make things right for me with God. So the idea is that whatever I did, whatever I'm guilty of, required an execution for recompense. Whether I would go to hell or not go to hell is irrelevant. It is dehumanizing to say that a human being should be killed for being a human being, but luckily Jesus was killed instead, so now we don't have to be. Regardless of whether you think after I die, I just die, after I die, I go to hell, I go to purgatory, whatever you dream, it doesn't matter. The central tenet of salvation is based on an execution human sacrifice, a blood sacrifice that was required, supposedly by this Christian God, in order to atone for people being people. That's dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is...
So, look, if this were a political show, we'd talk about that, right? If this were a show, if this were the, something else experience, some political party experience, we'd talk about that, right?
Right.
If this were the vegetarian experience, we might rave about
and there's skeptics, too. I mean, there's skeptical podcasts and things that you can listen to that cover all kinds of things, but we are
this is an atheism
program.
show, so don't be surprised when we talk about religion and criticize religion more than, say, we criticize, XYZ political party, right?
Okay. Oh, and I
That's
look
so
like
right here on the label.
I'm being prompted, I think, to make an announcement that Threadgills is at 6:30 at 301 West Riverside Drive. Next week is the show number 666 with Matt and Jeff. I think they have a little bit of special plans. You can mention that it's special, I'm told. And let's see. Is that for real? I don't think I'm supposed to read that part. Okay, so we'll go to... I think it looks like...
Joe is on line 2.
Okay, this is Joe in Dallas. Hi, Joe.
Hello, how are you guys?
Oh, it's a female Joe. I had no clue.
Oh, the J-O.
Okay.
I was calling to talk to you guys about your patience that I've seen with some people as a fan of your show.
Well,
I get, oh my gosh, my boyfriend has these bumper stickers on the back of his car. One of them said atheist, but it got torn off a bunch of times. The other one said born okay the first time, and the other one said keep your theology off my biology.
Beautiful, I love it.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
Since he put those on, we get evangelists every day, 7 a.m. on Saturday, every single day.
I'm jealous.
It's an opportunity. Deconvert them.
You mean they come to your door? You mean they come to your door?
Fix them.
I am so jealous.
And, he has no patience with them. I mean, he is just... He's worse than Jesse on his patience. He has zero patience.
You know what you need to do? You need to just videotape these encounters and YouTube them.
Oh, I know, right?
You should do that. I'm not kidding you. You should do it. It would be beyond awesome.
And now they bring children with them. So you think it's Girl Scout cookies, but it's not. And it's like, I want some Cinnamon. Where are my Cinnamon?
Yes, or the peanut butter ones. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like when they come to the door and they don't have cookies, you need to explain to them that that's a requisite.
You need to give them cookies. Yeah, or just, have cookies for them or something.
And I like the way that you guys go about things. You go about it to where people can call you and approach you instead of you forcing people to listen to you.
Oh, thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing that. We get so many criticisms from people saying, why are you going out attacking people's beliefs? And we're like, you know what? People call us. Thank you. Thank you, yes.
You can always turn your TV off.
Oh, a viewer noticed.
We don't even have internet. I mean, we watch it on YouTube because we live in Dallas.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yep.
I don't like Benny Hill or whatever his name is, so I don't watch him.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, that's kind of how things work in our wonderful free society, isn't it?
Okay.
I know.
So, what fun door-to-door evangelist stories do you have to share with us? There must be some.
We got one lady one time, and she had a kid with her, and this time I answered the door. He wasn't there. And I was like, oh, are you selling Girl Scout cookies or candles or something? And she's like, do you have Jesus